body bags were horror lies.
It's James and I'm your Sunday night reviewer, and today I wanted to bring you a review of I think it's a 2016 movie by Asias, I think. Can't remember the first name, possibly French director, but it's Personal Shopper with Kristen Stewart. So this is like a it's kind of like it's paranormal movie. Well, we have Kristen Stewart. She is, as well as a personal shopper to a famous woman. I'm not sure why she's famous, an actor or something like that. So, as well as being a personal shopper to her, she's a medium. And she's in this house and she's trying to make contact, and we find out she's trying to make contact with her brother, her twin brother, who unfortunately died from a heart defect, which is the same heart defect that she has. Yeah, so we're kind of bouncing around with her, kind of doing medium things. She's like in the in this house trying to get contact with the brother. She's kind of not doing it with his ex, but she's friends with her and she's helping her kind of sort things out. But the majority of this film is her being this personal shopper, which we're following, doing her day-to-day, picking up clothes, picking up jewellery for this famous person. Yeah, it's unusual how it's kind of all put together, this one. Anyway, we have this scene where things start to get a little bit more, okay, what's going on here? Because it's more thriller than horror, but I can see why this is classed as horror. But she's dropping some jewelry off, and then it's like she's having a conversation with the boyfriend of this famous woman. But she's actually married, so this is like an unofficial boyfriend. And yeah, he's saying that they're probably going to break up and stuff like that because the husband is starting to get suspicious. He's kind of like asking a few questions on Kristen Stewart. Maybe he's a little interested in her. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so she's doing her day-to-day bits and pieces, doing her job. This is what her job is. She has a boyfriend elsewhere somewhere. Where is he? Shit, I don't know. Eastern Europe maybe, or somewhere in like the Middle East or somewhere like that. I can't remember what he was doing. He's doing some security software updates, I think, somewhere. Anyway, she's talking to him every so often. And yeah, so she's on her way to London to pick up some clothes. So this is all based, sorry, should have said, this is all based in Paris. I think maybe there's a lot of French people in this, obviously being in Paris. I think the famous person is French. And it gets a lot of her clothes from, she gets all the clothing from like famous designers and stuff like that. And she's buying Cartier kind of jewelry and all these expensive designer bags and stuff like that. Some of them they're loaned to this woman for specific events. Sometimes she's just buying stuff, but it's always kind of in the knowledge that everything's public eye. But anyway, she's going to London to pick up some stuff and she gets this anonymous text message. And it's kind of goes along, and they just asking questions and things like that, and there's a conversation going, and she starts to think maybe this is Lewis, which is her brother. Yeah, so this is the one she's trying to make contact with, because he was always like, when I go, I will try and make contact, and she's a believer of this, that he will try and make contact with her. And anyway, so it soon becomes apparent it's not him, but it's very strange, this person, and you can tell that she's unhappy with everything with her life, and this person, whoever it is probing with questions and stuff like that, and asking her fears and stuff like that. And it's kind of interesting how the kind of conversation goes. It's a little unrealistic, to be honest, because if I was in this conversation, it's like, I wouldn't be like this with a random stranger, especially what she does. It's like one of her fears is like kind of being caught sort of thing, and not being caught, but she doesn't want to be who she wants to be. And so they were like, do you want to wear this famous person's clothes? And she's like, yeah. And it's like, why don't you do it? And she's doing this. And she's told, this person tells her to go to a hotel room. She goes there and things like that. It's kind of like this person is gauging their power against Kristen Stewart, like how much they can do and how much she will do. So they're building. And anyway, it gets to this, but it's a bit of not really it's kind of a spoiler. Yeah, this is kind of spoiling some of the film, but I'm not going to give everything away. But basically, the woman who she's personal shopper for, she goes back to her apartment, to drop off some stuff, and she finds her that she's dead. She's been killed. And you can figure out that it's the person that's sending her these messages and stuff like that. It's interesting. Like, there's this one part in the film where she figures out that the person that is messaging her is the killer. And she goes to this hotel room where she's told to go by this killer. And she goes there and the killer goes there. And then you have this, I haven't quite worked this out yet. I've only kind of just finished watching it. I haven't really kind of thought about it too much. I've just cooked some dinner and just come straight to the review. And it's, the lift opens, you're seeing an open lift, it closes. Then you're down in the lobby, you see the doors open again, and it pans across and then the doors open. As if like, sorry, my Alexa device was going off in one of the rooms. I wondered what that was then. Oh, excuse me. And so, yeah, it's like the doors open and close, and it's as if someone has walked through, but you can't see anyone. So it's like just a spirit manifesting itself, but has pressure to press buttons on the lift. It's pressure to open these pressure sensitive doors that open, obviously, when you stand on them or you go near them. Strange. But anyway, then it's kind of mirrored almost straight after with the killer coming out and doing the same thing. A really strange scene, yeah. And then a bit later we go to Kristen Stewart. It's a bit of time afterwards, and she's with her dead brother's ex kind of partner, and she's like, yeah, they're just talking about stuff, and she's going to testify and things like that. So it kind of really goes off on this movie. And then she meets the new boyfriend, and they're having a conversation about kind of the life after death sort of thing. And then he walks off, and then some more spoilers here. It's a bit cheesy, a bit hokey, this bit, that you kind of see the brother in the background at one point. And he drops a glass, and so he's kind of been making contacts through all this kind of thing. And there's different things where you look back, it's like, okay, maybe this was him or whatever. But she doesn't really kind of put the pieces together of the puzzle sort of thing. And then she goes out to kind of meet her boyfriend. He's off somewhere else, so she has to follow him. She's going to follow the next day, and she's in this hotel. And then she sees this glass like levitating and moving and drops, and she's like, is this Lewis? And it's like, she's not sure, because at one point there's this manifestation in the house that she's trying to make contact with, and it's not Lewis, it's this kind of woman. It's really strange, like you see the ghost, the manifestation sort of thing. And then it's like, so she's not 100% sure if it's him. She asks questions, she thinks it is, then she asks more questions, and she's not sure if it is. It's kind of a bit ambiguous, the answers that are being told, and then at the end she's like, is this all just me in my head? As in, you're led to believe that maybe she's just wanting things more than is actually there. It's like, is she kind of, is there any contact with the brother, or is there not? It's kind of quite ambiguous at the end. And that's kind of the film. It's really strange. You have the main part of the movie. I haven't quite figured out how much it links to the situation with the brother, because the main part of the movie isn't kind of what the start and the end is. You go a little bit like soft horror into like a kind of almost like a suspense thriller, and then back into like this soft supernatural horror at the end. It's like, I can't quite make the connection yet. Maybe if I think about it a bit more, over a bit of time, it will sink in, or if I kind of like watch it again. But I mean, it's an engaging movie. I did enjoy it. Kristen Stewart's really good. I have to say, like, Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart have really managed to cut the kind of their threads to the Twilight films, because they pick some really good, interesting movies, and they can really hold their own. And I think that they're kind of, they don't have to be linked. And I don't think they are linked to those movies. When people see their names now, they're not like, the Twilight couple. It's like they've really forged their own careers, and they're very good actors, both of them. I really do think, making some interesting choices with the movies that they do. But yeah, I thought she held the role really well. Yeah, it was kind of, she fit perfectly in the whole situation, and it's really natural acting throughout the whole movie. It's yeah, it gets a little cheesy at times with the supernatural bits, and I kind of, my kind of feeling is that it's a little bit confused. The movie is kind of like two separate movies going on at the same time, and they don't really mix together. And her character kind of is the same during the situations, but yeah, it's just an interesting one. Yeah, definitely want to think about a bit more, but I do recommend watching it, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. It's slow paced, but it's very engaging, and that there's enough going on and enough mystery to keep you interested. So I wonder what the second watch is like. Maybe I'll be watching it a little deeper to try and find more clues, or if it'll be a bit boring because I know what's happened and it was a slow pace with not so much going on. But anyway, that's the end of the review. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll catch you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.